Dear friends, hello to all. The world of cryptology makes us happy and sad every day, but we must understand that given the time, such an investment brings its fruits to save money. I will be glad to see you on my Andreas Crypto News channel. Sign up, put likes or dislikey. And we're going to start. XRP had its maximum at $3, but do you remember where it started? There were times when the XRP coin was worth a tenth of a cent, and the market has now is still quite high. The enterprising people in their time made very good money on this and understood it already in advance. Did you personally invest in XRP? Write your thoughts about it in a comment. Ripple XRP depends directly on the price policy of the dollar. If Bitcoin grows, XRP also grows. The price maximum, in my personal opinion, can reach $10 in the future. And this is saving your savings more than 20 times. Are you interested in such an investment? Warren Buffett himself has spent his whole life investing, and his opinion on the XRP digital gold account has an impressive impact on the trust of many people. Such actions have a positive impact on capitalization and growth.
Inflation, Keynes said it many years ago that it's an invisible tax that only one man in a million really understands, and it's a tax on people that have had faith in their currency that the government's issued. It's interesting, in the United States, the value of the dollar since I was born has declined by 94% to 6 cents. So inflation,
unlike where we were when the internet was in its infancy.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm Ryan Zagone with Ripple.
Right. And say your name so everybody can.
Ryan Zagone with Ripple. There's a recognition here that there's many benefits to the technology, but unlike almost every other sector, the regulatory framework must be in place for innovation to take root in financial services. And there is a broad recognition that that is needed. Now, we've faced the same issue about an uncertain technology and an uncertain time before. This isn't the first time we've had to ask this question, and it was with the creation of the internet. We recognize
that they're relatively unfamiliar with or new, and it's just an interesting activity, being a financial regulator and sitting in your chair. So, I mean, when you think about the technology and the challenges that poses, how do you go about the business of identifying and keeping your eye out for the risks, again, not just in or associated with the product, but with the technology itself as it becomes either commoditized or infiltrates the traditional financial marketplace?
Well, again, we're for innovation. So really in more mature areas like use of the cloud or artificial intelligence, there continues to be challenges of how regulators look at those things. Does the cloud represent a higher degree of cyber risk? Is artificial intelligence, if you use it, do you perhaps violate concepts of fair lending or disparate impact that are concepts the CFPB has? So all these are questions that really need to be solved. So I consider that kind of the crypto's kind of the new thing. The core fintech are sort of established processes that have gotten to some stage of maturity, but still need increased level of maturity for regulation. So that's why in that report we kind of separated the two. One, we weren't finished with the digital asset work, so we weren't ready to publish on it. And two, those reports were Treasury recommendations. They weren't interagency, so we did sort of make an effort of triangulating with other regulators, but they were really our thoughts. We had the pen. So that's, so really the excluding digital assets from that report is just a matter of, if that report was a year from now, it would have been integrated. But I do think it's important to look at the nature of fintech, and these are fairly traditional, addressing fairly traditional financial services needs. It's sort of, in some ways, a disruptive marketing technique. It can be a disruptive credit analysis technique. Speed to market innovation can be quicker, but it's largely sort of overlapping with what we would all consider traditional financial services. Crypto, digital, blockchain technology is like a whole nother step. So I guess the first thing is to get the first phase right, and I think we put out a framework that we're moving forward on. I think on
I will surprise you. I would say the fight against violence to women. I know it's not the usual talk in fintech.
That doesn't surprise me from you. You are right.
But I'll tell you just a quick anecdote very quickly. About 5 years ago, as we were working on a program with Peru, I visited Lima, the authorities, and all the rest of it. And then we went to the high plain and visited with rural communities. And I was just fascinated to meet this woman, Maximiliana, whose photo is still on my desk today. And she was one of those Peruvian women. She was in her late 50s. She had lost husband and all her children, most of them sons, but the daughter died as well, because of the terrorism in the valley where she was. And she managed to actually pull herself together and start a little business of growing little guinea pigs and selling guinea pigs, and then growing a little farm around with a little vegetable here and there. And she was able to do that through something that she showed me that she took out of her pocket, that she held close to her waist. And she took it out, and it was a payment card. And she took out her mobile phone, and she explained to me, she said, thanks to that, I can actually transact, I can sell my products, and I'm not under the absolute scare that people, in the main terrorist man, would actually steal my money and be violent against me. And to that device, I owe my life and I owe my well-being. So from that moment on, after having met Maximiliana and spent the whole morning with her, I went with her to the marketplace and all the rest of it. I figured that those mobile payments, of which you are the champion, can actually be not only fantastic in order to reduce cost, in order to save time, in order to disrupt existing businesses, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that at length, but can also be transformative for the life of people. And I hope in the process of those questions we'll be able to talk about remittances from foreign workers who are based in multiple countries around the world, and whose remittances back home can actually be significantly expedited, the cost of which massively reduced because of digital transmissions, payments, and disruption of the way in which business has been conducted. That's my story. Into new technologies that will actually change the way in which intermediation is conducted. Eliminate some of the barriers, including the unconscious biases that exist out there. And I think in the banking system at large, in many countries, the difference will not be between those who are disrupted and those who survive, but it will be between those who are cannibalized because they are not seeing it coming and they're not embracing it, and those who self-induce that cannibalization. And I'm using cannibalization on purpose because it's a bit of a striking, horrible word. But it's really what it means. It's you're going to disrupt your business model, you're going to change it, you're going to reduce your cost, you're going to expedite your transactions, and you're going to continue to inspire confidence because you will build that on the basis of an existing backbone, which is your bank and the confidence relationship that you've established with your customers. So that's where I see changes happening now. If you think of Circle and Ripples.
So how can we take payments global? So we've talked a little bit about SEPA today. Fedor has some APIs that tap into that. So wouldn't it be cool if you had euros in any bank account, say like Deutsche or Credit Suisse, and you could actually send those euros to another account within SEPA, which is pretty fast clearing, but have that money converted into dollars, yen, or whatever other currency is actively trading on the Ripple network. That would be pretty freaking cool. So how are we going to do this? Well, Fedor's got some pretty